My name is Steph AuBuchon. I am a psych and gender studies major, and this summer I am studying impulsivity in dogs. It's basically when in animals, in dogs specifically, they have negative behaviors because they're impulsive. They don't have any self-control, so they could be aggressive. They could be, it could be due to they're anxious, so they act out by tearing things up or digging. That's why we wanted to test impulsivity, is because it could really help allow owners to understand if their dogs are impulsive, if they have self-control, or if these dogs are going to need extra attention. Trying out a new dog, we generally start with just one, either the kibble or the really meaty, yummy treat, and we just kind of place it in the cup, and we want them to see that it's okay to eat out of the wheel. It's not something to be afraid of. And so once they start getting more comfortable with that, and they go through some training of just realizing that the kibble is the first treat that comes, and then the awesome treat is the one that comes later, then that's when we start spinning the wheel and do the different trials to see if they're willing to wait for the awesome treat, which will show that they have self-control. This is our hole cut in the plexiglass, which is where the dogs eat through. And so this is our starting tape. We line up this tape with the edge of this hole, so where they can start reaching. And then each block is, we've timed it out, so it's going to be 5 seconds to this first cup. And then we keep spinning, and this is 10 seconds away. You want to try it one more time? Okay, good. So we wanted to make sure they had visual access to it. The meaty treats are usually a little bit bigger, so that you can tell which one is which. Also, we wanted to leave gaps so they could smell in between the blocks to make sure that the dogs had they could use all their scents that they wanted to.
Really good.
There was a test done, it's called the marshmallow task, and so you basically give a child a marshmallow and you say, I'm going to leave the room, and for X amount of time, it could be 5 or 10 minutes, and if I come back and you haven't eaten the marshmallow, I'll give you another one. So they set this up, and the scientist leaves, or the researcher, and they basically watch the kid, and if the kid doesn't touch their marshmallow, then they get another one. But there were a lot of kids who also did eat that marshmallow and couldn't wait that 10 minutes to get that extra one. So it really does vary. It's a very individual kind of personality trait to have.
So I read with the marshmallow test that it statistically correlates with things like getting better grades in school, financial security as an adult, and so
the future of this project is really trying to find a way for us to make a task that is simple enough that vets and shelters can run, so they can test these dogs and allow the owners or the future owners, your dog does have great amount of self-control, you shouldn't have any problems with them, or this dog does not have the best self-control, so you might have to give them a little extra attention, a little more exercise, just so they don't have those negative behaviors. Senior thesis is really, you have an independent project with a professor to advise you on it, and it's a year-long process of collecting this data for that specific question you have. We collect data, we write papers, and we present, and then at the end we defend our thesis.
And where have you presented this work so far?
I presented it at John Wesley Powell this past semester. We had a poster and people were in love with the idea. They saw dogs and they would come running up. Anthony was next to us and they were enthralled by the idea of dogs doing science, and they really want to, know. And you have the dog parents who are like, oh, my dog would be great at that, and then the other ones are like, no, my dog is so dumb, they would be awful. But it's just funny to see how much people love dogs and want to know more about them.